What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS, here to bring you that NBA slate breakdown for, I want to say we got an 8-gamer, 3, 6, 7, 8, oh, 9-game NBA slate. Hopefully some more money to be made. Hopefully you guys did good last night. Let me know how you did. I know there was some combinations that we talked about that did pretty good. Talked about it yesterday. That Patrick Williams, I posted it on the community tab. I told you guys that boy, he was going to go off. Low owned, single digit ownership. And sure enough, great matchup. Once again, what did he do? He stepped up, major way. If the Bulls had kept it just a little bit closer, I think it could have been a even better night for Patrick Williams. But that pivoting off of Drummond, going with Jalen Duren, that game went into overtime. And let's talk about the Pistons. The Pistons keeping it close and almost winning. I know if you went ahead and you took the spread for the Pistons to cover, I don't know, minus so however the heck you guys do for those bets and stuff like that. I dabble in it. I don't do it too often. I'm more props and just DFS. But if you took that, or if you just went ahead and you stacked the main contributors for the Pistons, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and Bogdanovich and Jalen Duren, if you just played around with that combination right there, I know you had a good night because they were all low owned. Nobody wanted them. Of course, going into Boston, you think they're going to blow them out. They're only missing Jaylen Brown. The writing was on the wall, and they did pretty good. That was definitely one of those spots where if they were going to win, that was the spot. And they almost pulled it off. They almost did. So really, really great. Good spot with that. The Patrick Williams call, that was actually pretty good. I will say for myself, I didn't do as well as I should have because I tried to get a little bit too cute. I tried to predict a blowout for the Dallas game when I should have just ignored it, forgot about it. Jason Kidd is Jason Kidd. Dallas, they actually kept it closer than what I thought they would, going up against a full healthy Minnesota team. It was not my night because I played Prosper, so I took a big fat 0 and messing around with my line. Just some things that I could have did better myself right there, but getting that core 3 piece right there with, I played Jalen Duren, I had Patrick Williams, and I also played Scoot Henderson, which lo and behold, Simons got ruled out, midday downgrade to questionable. So of course, normally whenever that stuff comes out, players normally are going to end up sitting, and that's exactly what happened. So getting Scoot, 35 fantasy points, Duren, pretty good, all of them 30 plus fantasy points, so decent. But if you guys are looking for more plays and stuff like that, check the link down in the description below for the Dub Club. I post the cores, I post value play, stud plays that you guys can go ahead and plug into your lines as well. And if you guys look for more of that stuff like that, check that link right there. And if this video yesterday or any video helped you guys win some money, drop a like on the video. It definitely means a lot. I know for the end of the year, my goal is to try to reach 1,000 subs. Fell a little bit short of that, but nonetheless, I do want to take a moment to thank everyone that actually watches these videos and the interactions. I know there's a loyal few of you guys that actually, you comment, you talk to me down in the comment section, and I really do greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. It really does mean a lot to you, boy. Been grinding this since WNBA season and been pretty consistent with it. So I do thank you guys for actually tuning in and, just at least enjoying the content. And before I go ahead and finish all this intro stuff, I do want to wish a late happy birthday to the King, Raheem. I did see your comment yesterday. I thought I responded to it and told you happy birthday, but I see the comment didn't go through until today. So I'm going to wish you a belated birthday today. Hopefully you had a good night last night. And thank you for, tuning in, watching the videos. And with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's try to break this down. As always, we're going to go ahead and start with the injury report. Like I've told you guys before, hopefully you guys are not building your lineups too early. Of course, it's good to get like a first look over the slate, see, where some things that we can go to, pivots, things like that we should be able to go ahead and pay attention to. But until that afternoon injury report comes out, that's when really the value just starts to open up. Like we got word in regards to Boston resting some guys and some guys that are now downgraded to questionable game time decisions. So that's going to be something that's going to open up possibly for us to have some Boston value on today's slate. Scrolling through it, we know that couple of the other games where we can actually pay attention to some things like Portland. They're on a second night of back-to-back. We definitely do need to know if all those guys, a couple of the guys that sat yesterday, if they're going to be back tonight. So definitely just some things to actually pay attention to. And I'm getting some more alerts on my phone. Michael Porter Jr. just got listed as questionable. So now that's a downgrade to him. That's a downgrade right there. And then Reggie Jackson, he's listed as probable. So, of course, more news as that stuff breaks. It's definitely something to pay attention to. And, of course, we'll break that down when we get down into it. All right, so starting at the top of the list, New York, Orlando, nothing to really worry about for them. Only thing really is just that Gary Harris is out. And so we should expect some more minutes for some of the guys off the bench. But we'll touch on that. It's not too much. This should be a really defensive-minded game right here with the Knicks and Orlando. Both physical teams right there. Brooklyn Nets, Claxton, game time decision, fully expecting to play. DFS, same thing for him. I expect him to play. Washington, Gallo off the bench, game time decision. But other than that, the main guys are good to go. Kings, nobody to report. Atlanta, nothing that we got to worry about right there. The Toronto Raptors, I want to pay attention to the starting lineup because they had a shakeup in the last game where they decided to start Scotty Barnes at the point guard position and they moved Dennis Schroeder to the bench. So that's definitely going to be something that we're going to want to pay attention to, because if that's going to be the same thing, that's a big Toronto Raptors lineup, and I do have some interest in players like OG Anunoby, Siakam, and Scotty Barnes, of course. Again, here, I definitely do feel like they might be undervalued in regards to what we could possibly get out of them, depending on if this will be a close game or even a Boston bench unit is all right. But definitely from Boston side, we do need to know about Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, if he's going to actually play today. He missed yesterday with the back, and then Tatum. We know that they played OT, so that could be something that we might get tonight right there. But might kind of actually favor some unders on Tatum if he's actually going to play today for props, especially that PRA. So something to keep in mind if Tatum actually is going to be ruled in. I know Boston, they're not up on the board right now. Of course, they took him down. Milwaukee, Giannis, he's going to play. Cavs, I expect Donovan Mitchell to actually play. I want to say that he was at shoot around and participated, so definitely should have Donovan Mitchell. But outside of that, of course, Garland, Ty Jerome, Mobley, all these guys are still going to be out for them. For Philly, we will still be without Joel Embiid. Paul Reed should be starting at the center position. Mo Bamba off the bench. Going up against the Houston Rockets, where Tari Eason, he's a game time decision, and Dylan Brooks has already been ruled out. So if Tari is going to miss, then that's going to be interesting to see what they do here. Maybe they could start like a Jeff Green or something like that, but definitely something I want to pay attention to here for them. DeJounte, I think his usage and stuff would actually go up a little bit more if Eason was to be out. And then, of course, Shangoat. This is more than likely going to be a pretty decent spot for him, especially going up against the likes of Paul Reed as a backup in Mo Bamba off the bench. OKC going up against Denver. Like I said, we just got the word that Michael Porter Jr. questionable with the quad. I would expect that he might miss. Second night of a back-to-back for them, so definitely something to pay attention to. They shook it up a little bit yesterday. They started Peyton Watson in the starting lineup, so wasn't expecting exactly Peyton. I thought they were going to go with Holiday like they've done in the past, but instead it was Peyton Watson, and he went out there and he had a decent game. If he's in the starting lineup again, I do like that. I don't mind that. So I'm going to play with as if Watson's going to be in the starting lineup, especially with, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Michael Porter Jr., such a late day ad, is going to be out tonight. So definitely something to note and pay attention to over here. And then for OKC, nothing really to worry about. Jalen Williams, the center off the bench. This would have been a game he should have possibly gotten some minutes, especially trying to defend the Joker. But we've seen OKC run quite a bit of a small ball lineup, so could be some more minutes and things like that for Kevin Williams off the bench. Charlotte taking on the Suns. So Charlotte, second night of back-to-back for them. Brandon Miller, he did play. Mark Williams looks like he's going to be doubtful again. Neil King is out. Gordon Hayward's out. So should be the same starters that we see right here. And then over here for the Suns, Bradley Beal is expected to be back today. He participated fully in shoot-around. So I haven't seen anything on a minutes limit for him yet, but I fully expect for him to be on a minutes limit. And as always, everyone else surrounded out. So we might finally get to see the full force Phoenix Suns as they finally figured out and get stuff rolling in rotation. And then we have one of the weirdest back-to-backs in the world, because we literally just saw the Spurs in Portland play last night. I don't know why this is the slated back-to-back, but that's horrible planning and honestly bad scheduling. I don't even understand this. But Wemby, game time decision. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to sit out since this is a back-to-back for him. And he's going to be out. And I need to correct myself. I said it was a 9-game slate. It's actually 10. I missed the Memphis Grizzlies taking on the Clippers down here at the bottom. But Wemby, I doubt he's going to play on the back-to-back, especially considering he's been limited and everything. So we should see Collins slid in at the starting center position, which is a pretty good spot for him, especially going up against, depending on who's actually going to be in and out for Portland. Definitely some news that we're going to want to pay attention to for them. If Simon's going to be out again, fully go right back to Scoot. Brogdon, decent piece to go ahead and go to. Jeremy Grant, him again. If Reith actually plays, I want to go back to Reith. Reith looked really good in the game prior. He looks awesome. So hopefully he's actually going to be back. They might have just sat him since it was a back-to-back for them. And then coming out here at Memphis, Ja, he missed the last game because he was sick. Should be back today. I fully expect for him to be back. And then over here for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, he did not participate in shoot-around. So I do expect for Kawhi to be out once again today. So we should see Coffee. I believe that's who they've been rolling out there in the starting lineup for him once again. And that's really going to be it. And as I've said before, of course, with Kawhi being out, that's a boost to Paul George, a boost to James Harden as it's been. All right, heading over to DraftKings, the site that we've been playing the most on, the site that we've been, you know what, let me fix this lighting for y'all. So I actually do have a ring light, so decided to actually plug it up. make this a little bit better, especially since I got my face back in the camera again. All right, so looking over at DraftKings, like I said, the site that I play the most on the site. If you guys don't got an account, check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus to join your boy over here on the King. Let's go ahead and let's try to figure out this slate. So starting out with Brooklyn Nets taking on the Washington Wizards, I do think that this game should be a decent game, especially if the Nets bring their A game. Washington playing at home, they've played much better over the last several games, which is something that we've noted before. Looking at it, long as everyone is in, everybody's good to go, then we can definitely start with the starting lineup. Mikal Bridges, if you want to mess with that, I'm not gonna lie. He's the bane of my existence because it's a mixing pot in regards to what you're gonna actually get from him. You can get a 50+ fantasy point game, or you can get a 29 type game from him. And of course, we know he just wanted to keep his streak alive, so that's why he played and only got 12 fantasy points. But opposing small forwards going up against the Washington Wizards have done decent. We just seen OG pop off in this exact same spot. Spencer Dinwiddie, if you want to mess with that, you like playing with fire, definitely another play you can go with. We know that Washington's been giving up about 40+ fantasy points to opposing point guards, and literally you look at the game logs in regards to it, point guards have actually been popping off. Now Spencer Dinwiddie, depending on which one you're actually going to get, come out here and can actually knock down the shot, facilitate like we know that he can. He's definitely in a prime position to have a good game, so I don't mind him. But again, most of the Nets, as I say it, they're going to be GPP plays for me just because I don't fully trust the Nets, but they are in a really great spot to succeed on today's slate. Claxton, long as he's in, long as he's good, no problems or issues from him. He's a pretty good fantasy point per minute producer, and he does have one of the best matchups on the slate going up against Daniel Gafford. Opposing centers have literally decimated going up against Washington, so really great spot for him. And then Cam Johnson, of course, rounding it all out. He's in a pretty good spot as well. And then if you want to mess with it off the bench, granted, his price has been hiking up left and right. I really do wish that he was a little bit cheaper. Day'Ron Sharpe. He's a really good fantasy point per minute producer as well. If you want to take a flyer on him at 5-1, fade the Claxton, maybe you think Claxton will be on like a minutes limit or something like that of the sort, then you definitely can go there with that. But outside of that, it's just going to be the main guys over here for me for the Brooklyn Nets. If I had to rank him the best person, and I can't even believe that I'm going to fix my mouth to even say this, but it'll be between Claxton and Spencer Dinwiddie. Both of those two, to me, grade out as the best two. The position, the spots, the fantasy points that have been given up to opposing players at their positions would be the main two. They have both decent usage out there. I know Claxton, he can clash the glass, he can get blocks, steals, those things like that. So either one of these guys are in a prime spot. Bridges, I'm not gonna lie, he's burned me so many times. It's just hard, and I don't like playing with fire. And then yeah, if you want to mess that with Cam Johnson, that's okay. And then Cam Thomas, he's just too scoring reliant for me. Unless he's going to go out here and literally light it up, he's not going to really do too much for me. And at 6'9", there's other players I'd rather get to in that position spot. Now, coming over to the other side of this game, going on to the Washington side, like we said, they are in another, of course, good spot as well. A prop play that I was already on, which was Tyus Jones. I like his PRA. I like his points. I like pretty much everything for Tyus just because he's been playing really well over his last several games. That last game, I'm going to count it as an outlier. 25 fantasy points in 31 minutes against a tough Toronto team that literally played big. So Tyus coming in here to a much better matchup going up against the non-defense of a Cam Thomas and whatever defense that Spencer decides to throw out there. I do like the usage and everything, and the fact that his minutes have actually kind of evened out a little bit. I could say he's at least played close to 30 minutes, at least 25 minutes in each game, which again, a player that's giving me a decent fantasy point per minute production. I do like that for him. So Tyus at 6'4", I do like that. Now we do know it is going to be a pool party, and it's going to be Kuzma are the main two guys that are going to run everything for them. Kuzma, he technically has the tougher matchup, but we know that kind of some players are matchup proof, and Kuzma could be one of them. Depends on what Kuzma we actually get to come out here and play. I don't mind it, but if I am going to mess with anything, I will unfortunately, and take the, and depending on how you feel about it, I'll take Poole over Kuzma today, especially for the price savings at 6'9". And then another player who kind of goes under the radar a lot in regards to what he actually goes out here and does and produces, that's going to be Danny Avdia. Now, I know his game logs, they don't look the prettiest, but he does have a ceiling of about 30 to 40 fantasy points that he can produce in the right matchup. And today kind of grades out as one of those matchups, as we have seen opposing small forwards going up against Brooklyn. They've actually had pretty decent games. Chris Middleton just popped off with 51 fantasy points going up against them. Bogdanovich, 29 fantasy points. Michael Porter Jr., not pretty, but 27 fantasy points. RJ Barrett, 26. Lauri Markkanen, 41. Klay Thompson, 38. So the realm of possibility, depending on what we actually get from Denny, if he's knocking down the shots, he is playmaking because he is getting quite a bit of assists and he is rebounding. So he is a stat sheet stuffer. I don't mind that for Denny here, but Tyus to me just is the better play and the best play over there for them. New York taking on Orlando. This game right here, to me, is going to be a defensive matchup game. It definitely has one of the lower totals on the slate. I don't really feel like this is a game where we're going to want to poke, prod, stab, and get a whole bunch of stuff from. So it'll be just the main guys over here if I want to take anything from here. Randall Brunson, GPP play, and RJ Barrett if you want to mess with that. Not too interested in Hartenstein, Hart, Quick, or anything like that. DiVincenzo off the, I think he's starting, if I'm not mistaken. DiVincenzo, if he is starting, let's see. Yeah, DiVincenzo, since he is starting, I don't hate it, don't mind it, as long as he can play at least his 20+ minutes and he actually is efficient from the field. I'm not going to expect a 42 fantasy point game from him, but he does have block and steal upside as well, so I'm not going to hate that right there. But everyone else, the prices are just not really the prettiest. Like I said, RJ Barrett, GPP, just because he is under 6K, and I know that he has a pretty good upside. Outside of that, I'm not too heavy on New York at all. And then over here for Orlando, it's going to be the same thing for them. It's going to just be the main guys, main contributors that we also want to go to. That's going to be Paulo and France. They're going to be the two guys to lead the team. Jalen Suggs, if he's not getting down the shots and he's hot in the first half and actually keep it going, he's not going to do really too much for us outside of scoring. He can bring it on the defensive side, but New York, they play pretty slow. They're not too sloppy of a team, not going to have too many turnovers. So I really feel like this is going to be a floor game for Jalen Suggs. Same thing for Cole Anthony and all them. Really, it's just going to be Paulo and France if I'm going to take anything. And it'll be Paulo over France in this game. I do feel like this is probably another game. Paulo goes out there and squeaks his way to a 40 fantasy point type game. So if you want to mess with anything from that game, not a must, like I said, but definitely some appeal if you want to get some low-owned players on the slate. Now, Toronto, going over to them. If they start Scotty at the point guard again, I do have some interest at 8-9. He's not above the 9K range just yet. The upside is there because the kid is doing everything. He's rebounding. He's getting the assist. He's literally scoring. The three-point shot looks very much more improved. So I definitely don't hate Scotty Barnes here. And then same thing for Siakam, especially if there's no Tatum. You're going up against the backups. And if Boston can actually keep this close, if this is the backups, then I definitely do have interest in both of them. But with Dennis Schroeder going to the bench, I feel like that's just going to open up more shots, more attempts and stuff like that for OG Anunoby, which it did. Took 16 shots in that last game, 3 of 7 from 3. He also rebound as well. Got a couple of assists, but 26 points, 37.5 fantasy points, and it's not crazy. It's not an anomaly. This is definitely what OJ can go out here and do. And opposing small forwards going up against the Boston Celtics, they've done so. They've done all right. We just seen Taurean Prince drop 31 fantasy points. Paul George, slack game for him, but 34 fantasy points himself as well. Klay Thompson dropped 41. Franz Wagner in his first game going up against him dropped 34. So a player that's going to get his shots, plays on the defensive side, plays pretty hard in defense as well, and we know he can get a couple of rebounds and things like that for him. I do like the upside we can get for OG at 6K. It's going to get you off of the Pascal Siakam, the Scotty Barnes. Definitely some value to be had right there at that 6K range. And that's if Dennis is going to still be coming off the bench. I do like that because then we are going to get OG playing the small forward position as well. Going over here to Boston, it's kind of hard to navigate this just because, like I said, everyone's with the Q tags. He's questionable with his ankle, and he did say that yesterday after the game. He said he'll see about Friday. He doesn't know. KP, due to left calf injury, man. Okay, he's doubtful, so KP is not going to be playing. So we know that, and they already ruled out Al Horford. So for the centers over here, we know we're going to get Quetta more than likely at the center position starting for them. He played 20 minutes last night against Detroit. The last game, where did you started before for them? I want to say it was this Golden State Warriors game. Let me look that up real quick, guys. Because I know Quetta, he started before in the past for Boston. I don't think it was a crazy game or anything like that he went out there and he put up for us or anything. But the last start that he had, which was, looks like I can't find where he started at. Nonetheless, he's a decent player whenever he's getting the minutes. As you can see, going up against the Clippers, 23 minutes, he dropped 34 fantasy points. Against Golden State, 21 minutes, he dropped 27. So if he starts, I'm not going to hate it. We have seen opposing centers actually do pretty decent going up against the Raptors, going up against their center, Poto. Yeah, Poto. So I don't hate it. I'm not going to mind it. It's definitely going to be value. Probably going to be a chalk play on the slate nonetheless, but definitely one way you can go right there. And then if Drew Holiday was to miss and Derek White is actually going to play, then the point guard dudes, all that stuff will be into Derek White's hand. I would like the upside for him here. I'm not going to hate it. I do feel like this is going to be a GPP type matchup, especially because you are going up against a lanky, large team in the Toronto Raptors. And he did just play 38 minutes last night. But Again, decent spot. He's played them twice already this season, dropping 18 and 30. Oh no, 26 fantasy points. So definitely, maybe with all the usage, he might be able to do something better. But definitely a GPP option to play. And then if they actually let Jaylen Brown play tonight, I'm not gonna hate it. I definitely could see a way that he can etch his way there, especially because all the shot attempts and stuff will be there for him. So another play that you could possibly go to. But if we want to mess with anything, it's going to be plays off the bench. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser would be the main guys that we're going to probably want to go to. We know they're going to get the run. And then if they decide they want to throw a curveball and let Banton get a start or something like that, I personally am not going to fall for it because we've seen in the past where they say, oh, Bantam's starting, but then he doesn't do anything. So I'm not going to fall for that. Again, you could definitely go with that if you want to. But for me, it'll literally just be Quetta, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser will be the main guys I would look to over here from this team, especially with all the Q tags. And this could possibly be, I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout because I was wrong last night in regards to a blowout. So, but those are just the interesting pieces I'll take from over there. All right, going over to the Atlanta Hawks taking on the Sacramento Kings, and I really wish I could actually have gone to this game because this should definitely be a back and forth, decent game. I love Sabonis here. I know going up against Clint Capella, he's a pretty decent defender, but you're not going to be able to deal with Sabonis, the GOAT right here. Opposing centers have actually done very well, and we just saw Andre Drummond, first game starting, went out there and he dropped a 2020 game. And if you know Sabonis, he can rebound. He does that. He can also play make. He's getting those assists. Now, I know the last couple of games they've been at home, but he's still pretty decent on the road. Going up against Portland, another weak team, which they should have won that game. They lost 113 to 130. He still went out there, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and he dropped 34 points. I would expect much of the same right here, especially the offensive putbacks, things like that, that he can go out here and get in this game. I love it. Love the spot for Sabonis. It's probably going to be one of my top tier studs that I want to go to on the night for the day. Now, on the other side of that, the other punch for this, the 1-2 punch is going to be De'Aaron Fox. I definitely see a realm in a way where if you this right here, honestly, is the game that probably has the best stackability. And let me look at the game totals real quick. 252 total. This game, it has the stackability because there's some plays on the other side of this game that I really do feel like we can play and that we can attack. So I will say maybe get 2 pieces from one side, 1 piece from the other, or do a 2 and 2, or you can do 3 pieces from one side. But for me, honestly, on the King side, it's really just going to be Sabonis, and it's going to be Fox will be the main 2 that I want to get to. Kegel, dealing with the defense of Saddiq Bey, Jalen Johnson, those guys, I'm not going to really want to mess too much. And I know opposing power forwards, they really haven't done too hot. Same thing for the small forwards and Harrison Barnes. If you ever play Harrison Barnes, just check yourself into a mental asylum. Harrison Barnes, he's trash. Literally trash. But maybe something like Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter, if you go with like those 3, Kevin Huerter, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis as a nice little stack right there from this, especially Huerter sitting at 5K, and he's starting shooting guard, and he used to play for Atlanta as well. So this could be definitely a blow-up game, a blow-up spot for him, who's coming off of some pretty shaky performances out there. I definitely can see this being a get right. And let's go ahead and plug it in. It leaves you with 5-1 over here. And then going over to Atlanta. On the Atlanta side, looking at them, of course, you're going to want to play the Trae Youngs. You're going to want to play your DeJounte Murray if you can go ahead and get there. Saddiq Bey, Jalen Johnson. Those are the guys that are mainly focused to if I'm going to mess with anything over here. But for me right now, I would say I would try to find a way to get maybe Jalen Johnson or Saddiq Bey. One of these 2 guys I really do feel like a pop. If there's some crazy value that opens up and I can get DeJounte Murray, that leaves me with 445. We do have the Quetta value that, and then probably we're going to have some value from the Portland game. I do have some interest in this. Or if you just want to take one of Sabonis or Fox and then run a Huerter and then DeJounte Murray back from this game, I just feel like this game right here, there's a way to stack it. There's a way to stack it, point blank, period. And I do like it. I really do think that's a pretty decent idea, is to go ahead and get a stack from this game. But anyway, back over here, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, both those guys, decent spots, like I've said before in the past. Trae, he just finds a way to somehow get there. Night in and night out, he goes out there. It may seem like he's not going to get there, but he's doing really well in regards to his playmaking. So they're clicking, honestly, and I really do like the upside for him here going up against the Kings. Now going up against them in the last game that he played against them didn't do too hot, but that was before he's been on this really great, amazing stretch of dropping close to 45 to 50 fantasy points a game. And then DeJounte Murray, if you already know that Trae, he's going to have that tough defense, things like that. But DeJounte, he's a stat sheet stuff for himself. I do like the upside that we can get for him. And like I said, this game, it should be fast-paced back and forth. And I really do like the upside that we can get for a couple of players over here. Like I said, Saddiq Bey, man. Saddiq Bey and Jalen Johnson. Those 2 guys, I might have to figure out a way. I'm going to figure out a way to actually stack this game and get the pieces from here like what I want to. Because this game, I think this might be this. Not even might be. This will be the game of the night. I really do like DeJounte Murray. And on the other side for the Kings, like I said, I do like Sabonis. I like Kevin Huerter, Fox. So it'll be probably a mix of either one of these two stud guys and Kevin Huerter, and running it back with DeJounte Murray. All right, I digress. Going on to the next game, we got Milwaukee taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Looking at it, as long as Giannis plays, he's good to go. He's great play. Don't hate it, don't mind it. Really not looking too heavy on anybody over here. It's a mid-level game. Giannis, okay, if you want to pay up there for that. But like I said, I really got my eyes on Sabonis or Fox. Damian Lillard, back and forth game. If you feel like Dame's can go back to his 40+ fantasy point type ways, I don't hate it. I do like his assist on today as a prop play. Was on that earlier. If you guys checked out the video, you should have already known that one already. But nobody really stands out. Their prices have been hiked up. Chris Middleton, I mean, he's decent value sitting at 6'7". I don't hate it, don't mind it, but not a must play or anything like that. If I was to take anything from over there, it would be Chris Middleton. And then over for the Cleveland side, with Donovan Mitchell actually being back, I do like Donnie at 9.5. It is a pay up, spend up. Definitely will get you off of the Fox or Sabonis, but with everyone being out, he's dropped 50+ fantasy point type games in almost every game since they've been gone. So I definitely do like Donovan Mitchell here. We know the shot's going to be there. We have attacked Damian Lillard defense and opposing point guards and players that actually shoot the 3-ball is what we've actually gone with whenever it comes down to playing anyone going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. And actually, if they have his 3-point attempts at a low number, such as like 7.5, 8, I would definitely take the over on that, because if you know one thing for sure, Donovan Mitchell is going to chuck it from 3. All right, 76ers taking on the Houston Rockets. This is another pretty decent game. I think I might like it from a fan perspective. It does have a low total of 224, but nonetheless, DeAndre Melton, Kelly Oubre Jr., those are going to be your guys you want to look to. Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, they're all going to get boost bumps, especially with no Joel Embiid out there. Like we said before, they're trying to make up for the 35+ points that they're not going to have with Joel Embiid not actually being out there on the court. So don't hate, don't mind that. Melton to me is the best player in this position. Maxey, we haven't had the big blow up game from him with Embiid being out. Finally got to 23 points in that last game, but I definitely feel like Maxey can do a lot more for us. So Maxey, GPP option play, gets you off of some of the other big name guards that I've already talked about on the slate. But for me, main one is going to be Melton. I really do like the upside for him, sitting at 6'1". He's a do-it-all guard, and he's going to etch his way there. Definitely stuffs the stat sheet and brings you something on the defensive side. 30+ fantasy points would be at least what I would expect from him in this game. And then over here on the other side for the Houston Rockets, I really do like Şengün. With no Embiid out there, I honestly do feel like this is a spot where we could see a decent center, just like what Bam did with no Embiid out there. Dropped 57.75 fantasy points. Poto, he didn't do too bad going up against Embiid actually in that matchup. But Şengün, he's a stat sheet stuffer. I don't see any way they stop his offensive game, and definitely should be able to get the rebounds out there as well. But this could be definitely another one of those 45 to 50 fantasy point type games, especially if Tari Eason's going to be out. That's more rebounds to go around for him as well. Outside of that, Tate definitely is someone I would have some interest in for value, especially if there is no Tari and he's going to actually be starting. Low usage player, but he hit his shots. He's out there to play defense. That is primarily what he is going to do. But if he actually is asked to actually score, he can go out there. He can do it a little bit as well. Outside of that, you can take a chance on Freddie V if you want to, but I'm not too interested right there. And then Jalen Green, I'm not too high on Jalen Green as another player, but GPP option nonetheless, but not nothing that is a must to me in my eyes. My Thunder taking on the Denver Nuggets. This is going to be a hard game for me to truly gauge and to figure out because I really do need to know whether or not if Michael Porter Jr. is going to be out. Like I said, I'm going to go with the assumption that he is going to miss. Everyone over here for the Thunder, this is grays out as a bad matchup for them, all of them, if we're being honest. But we know SGA, he finds a way to go ahead and get there some way, some or another. He's a very safe play if you want to go there. 10-6, don't hate it, don't mind it, unless you get off of the Giannis play or anything like that. If you guys see something moving in the background, it is my dog. I am dog sitting for my sister, so if you guys see something brown moving back and forth and you hear the high-pitched squeal, that is her. She is right underneath me. Yeah, I'm talking about you. It's a crazy dog. Outside of that, Chet, J-Dub, Josh Giddey, honestly, all GPP options over here for the Thunder. I did mention I would expect Kendrick Williams because they have been running small, playing a small ball line. Played 21 minutes in that last game. Last time they played going up against the Nuggets which it should be somewhere in here. I know you guys played them recently. Denver, he played 12 minutes, gave us 8.25 fantasy points. So GPP option, like I said, it's not too much over here for OKC that I like outside of Shea. And then, I mean, you could go back to Dub if you want to, especially if there isn't going to be any Michael Porter Jr. and you're already down Aaron Gordon. Maybe Jalen Williams would be another play. I mean, the kid's been pretty hot over his last couple games since he rolled his ankle in that one game. So I don't hate it. And over for the Denver side, with no MPJ, with no Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, both those guys, great prime, good plays. Not gonna hate, not gonna mind either one of those guys. KCP as a value play that you might want to mess with, but Peyton Watson, if they start him, I do like the upside for him. Went out there 23 minutes, dropped 31.25 fantasy points, and then the last time he played the Thunder, he played 16 minutes and he gave us 18.5 fantasy points. So I do like the upside for Peyton Watson as a possible play to go to. With the fact that I would expect Michael Porter Jr. to be out since he is questionable for that due to his quad injury. So, yeah, definitely something to keep note. And he only played 23 minutes last night, too. Granted, they did blow them out eventually, but still, everyone else, they actually did play decent burn and run. So, outside of that, if you do have Michael Porter Jr. ruled out, then I definitely could see room for Braun to go ahead and get some more run and burn, and Schroeder would be the main two guys that I would go to. Schroeder played 25 minutes last night, dropped 21 fantasy points. So, they do like him. They are very high in regards to what he brings in. And Braun played 23 minutes, gave us 23.2 fantasy points. So, either one of those guys would be pretty decent. Over here for the Charlotte Hornets taking on the Phoenix Suns. Wait a minute. Looks like I wasn't wrong in regards to it being 8, 9, 10 games because... yeah, we don't have the last 2 games on the slate. DraftKings cut off the last 2 games, the 10 o'clock games. That's stupid. I don't know why the heck they did that, but okay, whatever. Charlotte Hornets, going right back to them. If I take anything with no Kawhi Leonard out there, I don't mind Mikal Bridges. We know he'll have to lead this team and do what he has to do in order to edge their way to a win. Outside of that, Terry, GPP option, not going to go too heavy right there. Played 32 minutes last night, 38 fantasy points, not bad at all. And then PJ Washington off the bench if you want to mess with that, but I'm not going to go there. Really, it's just going to be Miles Bridges would be the main guy that I would go to over here for them. And then for the Suns, it's going to be honestly wait and see. I got to see how they look with everyone actually being back. But prime de facto, if you want something safe, I do always feel like Grayson Allen. He's pretty safe in regards to what he's going to go out there and get you. He's going to at least get you over 20 plus fantasy points, 99 out basis. Even with Bradley Beal being back, I fully expect Beal to be limited in regards to his minutes and role that he's going to actually go out there and play first night back. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't go ahead and say Yusuf Nurkic. This is a really great spot for him. Opposing centers have done very well going up against the Charlotte Hornets. Even with Nick Richardson out there, it's still a decent spot for opposing centers. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me, guys. Like I said, definitely check out that Atlanta and King stack. I really do feel like that's going to probably be the nuts for tonight. Back and forth game, highest total. I'm actually about to go make a game stack prop slip for that one now after looking at it because I really do like the upside from that game. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys do cash out. See you guys tomorrow. Bring in the new year with a bang. Hopefully you guys do make some money. Talk to me down in the comment section. Peace.